Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Savannah Chrisley finds shred of comfort amid tragic loss. Savannah Chrisley and her entire family are in mourning after the week came to a tragic end with the death of Nick Curtiles at the age of 29. Sadly, Nick Curtiles passed away from the injuries he sustained following a motorcycle accident. The accident happened a little after 3 in the morning on Saturday. Per TMZ, police reports note Nick Curtiles was struck by a vehicle after running through a stop sign. Savannah Chrisley, as well as her brothers Grayson, Kyle, and Chase, have all taken to social media to address the passing of Nick Curtiles. Savannah and all of her brothers hoped they were all in the middle of a nightmare and would wake up soon. No one wanted to believe that Nick was actually gone. Todd and Julie's daughter has taken to her Instagram stories once again. In addition to sharing a precious photo of Nick, she also opened up about how she found a shred of comfort amid this tragic loss. What was this shred of comfort? Keep reading for the details. Savannah Chrisley finds shred of comfort amid tragic loss. Resharing a photo someone else had posted of Nick as they mourned his passing, Savannah opened up about a memory she had of Nick. It was a memory from fairly early on in their relationship, a precious memory that would live in her heart and her mind forever. More importantly, she realized that this particular memory also gave her a shred of comfort to cling to as she mourned the passing of her dear friend and former fiancé. In her post, Savannah Chrisley noted that she recalled the very first time she took Nick Curtiles with her to church. It warmed her heart to watch Nick Curtiles as he found God, and as he developed a relationship with God. In addition to cherishing that memory, she also takes comfort in it. She takes comfort in the fact that she knows Nick Curtiles did have a relationship with God before he passed away. It allowed her to find some shred of comfort in the fact that he was gone. She begged him to send her a sign. As those who have been following Savannah Chrisley on Instagram know, her first post about Nick's passing was reaching out to him directly. She hoped for him to find a way to send her a sign that he was all right. Savannah didn't know how he would do it, but she hoped he would find a way to let her know he was all right. Savannah Chrisley had never been a stranger to adversity. Her family's name had been dragged through headlines more times than she could count, but this time the blow was different. This wasn't about courtrooms, scandal, or the public's judgment. This was personal. It was the kind of loss that wrapped its cold hands around her heart and squeezed until breathing felt like work. She sat on her porch in Nashville, the early morning light spilling across the quiet street. A mug of coffee steamed in her hand, but she hadn't taken more than 2 sips. The mug's warmth was a small comfort in a world that suddenly felt unbearably cold. The loss had come fast. One phone call, one sentence, and her world was different. She had replayed the moment over and over in her mind, the shock in her own voice, the ringing silence after the words landed. Her family had seen so much in the past few years, but no one was prepared for this. It wasn't her instinct to crumble. Savannah had always been the one to stand tall when the storm came, the one to carry a smile for her younger siblings when everything else felt unsteady. But that morning, for the first time in a long time, she allowed herself to feel small. The house was too quiet. Grayson was still asleep, and closed, soft breathing drifted from down the hall. Savannah had kept her siblings close these days, unwilling to let them face the world without her at their side. The weight of responsibility was heavy, but it was also the thread that kept her moving forward. That's when she saw it, her shred of comfort. It wasn't anything monumental. It wasn't a grand gesture or a miracle. It was a simple envelope, slipped under her front door sometime in the night. No name on the front, just her address scrawled in familiar handwriting. Her hands trembled as she slid her finger under the flap. Inside was a folded piece of paper, worn at the edges. Savannah, I know the pain you're in. I wish I could take it from you. But I also know you carry more strength than most people see. When the world feels too heavy, remember, love never dies. It changes form, but it's always with you. I'm proud of you. Always. There was no signature. She didn't need one. She knew the handwriting like she knew her own. Heart caught in her throat. Todd Chrisley was still serving his sentence, and communication was limited to approved calls and monitored letters. This note had somehow made its way to her without official channels. She didn't know if it was a guard doing a kindness, a family friend acting as a messenger, or a piece of luck. What she did know was that, in her darkest hour, her father's words had reached her. Savannah pressed the paper to her chest, letting the tears come for the first time in days. She didn't sob. The sound was quieter, more like rain falling softly on a window. She had been holding everything in, afraid that if she let herself break, she wouldn't be able to put the pieces back together. But the letter reminded her she didn't have to have all the pieces right now. When Grayson wandered into the kitchen half an hour later, rubbing sleep from his eyes, Savannah greeted him with a small smile. It wasn't her usual bright grin. It was softer, almost fragile, but it was real. Chloe soon joined them, hair sticking up in every direction, and Savannah poured cereal into their bowls like she had 100 times before. The day unfolded slowly. There were errands to run, calls to return, and the endless task of keeping life going when grief wanted to press pause. Every time her chest tightened, Savannah thought about the letter. In the afternoon, she drove out to a quiet stretch of parkland, the kind of place her family used to visit on Sundays. The sun was warm, the air scented with grass and wildflowers. She sat under a tall oak tree, pulling out a small notebook from her bag. She had started carrying it everywhere lately, filling it with bits of thought, fragments of hope, and little memories she didn't want to lose. Today, she began a new page. "Dear Dad," she wrote. "Your words reached me when I needed them most. I lost someone I loved, and it feels like the world has shifted. But I hear you when you say love never dies. I'm trying to believe it. I'm holding on to Chloe and Grayson, the way you and Mom taught me to. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I know I'm not walking into it alone." She didn't know if this letter would make it to him. Maybe it would stay in her notebook forever. But writing it felt like an anchor in a sea that kept trying to pull her under. That night, Savannah cooked dinner for her siblings. Nothing fancy, just pasta with garlic bread. And they ate together at the table. Chloe talked about a new book she was reading. Grayson complained about his history homework. And for a little while, life felt almost normal. Later, after they were asleep, Savannah returned to the porch with her coffee, now replaced by tea. She unfolded her father's letter again, smoothing the creases with care. She realized something then. The shred of comfort wasn't just in the words on the page. It was in the proof that love could stretch across distance, circumstance, and grief. It could slip under a door in the middle of the night. It could sit quietly in her chest, reminding her that even in loss, she was still connected to those who had shaped her life. The world outside was still the same, messy, unpredictable, and sometimes cruel. But inside, Savannah felt something shift. She wasn't healed, and she didn't expect to be anytime soon. But she had found a thread to hold onto, and for now, that was enough. She whispered a quiet thank you into the night, unsure if it was meant for her father, the universe, or the person she had lost. Maybe all three. When she finally went to bed, the letter stayed on her nightstand, not hidden away in a drawer, but close enough to reach for when the darkness tried to close in again. Savannah knew tomorrow might hurt just as much as today, but she also knew she'd keep going, not because she had to, but because love, in its quiet, stubborn way, would keep leading her forward.